really good to have you here on City Life with us today. Just a reminder to let you know that what's coming up on the program tomorrow, Jill Darcy, a special show with her aimed at parenting beyond separation. Roughly 1/3 of marriages end in divorce, and Jill wants to change the term broken family to complex family. So she'll be joining me tomorrow for a special episode of City Life. Today in the program, National MP Amy Adams to talk about Glove Up, Nick from Rolleston Vets, Pamela from Dog Watch, and movies with John Hunter. But first, Mark Thomas from the New Zealand Fire Service. Good to have you with us again, two weeks in a row.
Absolutely.
Where is Dan Coward?
Dan Coward at the moment is in Australia. He is attending or presenting at a conference over there on the response on the basically what happened in the Christchurch earthquakes and what is still happening. So he sends his apologies, but I'm delighted to be here again.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you here with us. I always think when he's not here that he's on holiday. So, I mean, he does deserve a holiday.
He does deserve a holiday. We all do.
Yeah, that's right. We do. Now, let's look at the fire calls for this past week.
OK, this week has been relatively quiet. In fact, it is about 10% down on the same week in last year in the number of calls. We're still doing some things that are related to earthquakes. I know the Littleton Brigade during the week assisted the curator of the museum there in taking everything out of the damaged building and storing it before it goes into another building. We have had something that has concerned me, and that during the week we had 3 separate fires where the occupants of the houses in each case tried to extinguish the fire, and in each case ended up in an ambulance and at hospital with smoke inhalation. That is of concern in that the speed of fire is so fast, most people don't really appreciate it. One of my colleagues uses a little trick when he's talking to a commercial group, and he will show them a video of a fire at a very small stage, say about this big, and he'll ask the people, could I put the fire out? And they say, yes, you could, with a bucket of water. So he's already sorted out where the cleaning room is. He goes out of the room, he goes down to the cleaning room, he gets a bucket, he turns the tap on, takes 45 seconds to fill the bucket up, and he walks back. And of course, by the time he gets back, the fire has doubled in size 2 to 3 times. And he then asks the people again, could have put the fire out, and they realise that they couldn't. Speed of fire is so great that we really recommend to people that if you are in a house where it does catch on fire, shutting doors, getting out, making sure everybody else that is in the room or is in the house gets out, and ringing the fire service from a safe place is the sensible thing to do.
Okay, so I mean, I know that they used to say to cover it with a mat, a little fire with a mat or something like that. Is that not something you do?
That's fine. I tell people when I'm speaking to them that if you are going to put a fire out or attempt to put a fire out, you must be absolutely certain that you're going to succeed, and that means you're going to have the means of doing it right at hand there. And if there's a mat there and you can smother a fire, that's fine. But if you are running off to get water and coming back to try and put a fire out, you're really putting yourself in extreme danger.
All right, okay. Well, I know that you brought a graph along with the fire calls this week. Let's have a look at that one. So what does that show, that pattern? Is that concerning to you, or is that a pretty normal week with those fires?
That's a fairly normal week. It does illustrate a couple of things. It illustrates that we have got a wee problem in Hornby where I believe children are lighting fires in the parks in Hornby. And it also illustrates the fact that the students are back from their break, and we've had a couple of very large parties during the weekend where our staff have had to wait until the police special tactics group have made it safe for them to go and put out extremely large and dangerous bonfires. This is, as you're probably aware, a constant problem in Christchurch. Sadly, it's something that we've inherited from Dunedin, and I wish it would go away. And
it's illegal to have bonfires?
It is, yes.
Anything outside? Any fires outside that's illegal?
Any fires outside are illegal in the Christchurch city. Okay,
all right. Now, let's look at the meeting that was held on Monday night. Tell me about that.
I went to a meeting on Monday night of the chiefs and deputies of the volunteer fire brigades that are associated with Christchurch City. That's Diamond Harbour, Governor's Bay, Littleton, Sumner, New Brighton and Brooklands. And the chiefs there were each explained what had been happening, and I was just struck by the fact that one of them at one stage mentioned, look, this is my hobby, and he was talking in relationship to the fact that the staff in those brigades do need some social activity to keep them interested and so on. And I thought, some hobby. These guys have given 9 months of their lives basically to their communities. They have gone so far beyond the call of duty, it's amazing. Some of them are now in situations with their brigades where they, in the words of our mayor, the station is munted. Littleton's a good example. They're working out of containers with their trucks parked outside. Brooklands, most of the staff at Brooklands are living in houses that are either red stickered or in the orange zone. The New Brighton brigade, a third of their brigade are out of their homes, can't live in them, they're unlivable, and they're still providing the service to their communities as if nothing had happened. And I find that absolutely amazing, and I find it quite humbling to see these guys.
It's incredible what they do for the people in their communities.
Oh, absolutely. They and they do it so cheerfully, and they do it without any expectation, and that's what I think is great.
Yeah, me too. All right, that big fire in Akaroa last week, that took a number of firefighters on the hills near Akaroa, that took a number of firefighters to put that one out. Yeah,
it did. It was quite remote, and they had to use helicopters, etc. And I believe it was almost certainly started from a lightning strike, and those, in terms of the rural fires, are probably the most difficult if they're in a very, very remote area, as this one was.
All right. Now, finally, tell me about the birthday cake incident.
There was a birthday party in a hotel in Park Terrace over the weekend, and they brought the cake out, and whoever had made the cake had thought it was a really good idea to have those candles that keep on reigniting every time you blow them out. So the poor old birthday celebrant tried several times, and of course it blows smoke around, and eventually the smoke detection in the hotel caught on to the fact that there was smoke around, sent out an alarm, the whole hotel had to be evacuated, and the fire service arrived. So they got a red fire truck at their birthday party.
I mean, those candles are fun.
Oh, they are fun, but they can be a bit tricky too.
Yeah. So we'll just have to remember not to have those reigniting candles around smoke alarms.
I would think it's probably a good idea. Just a tad embarrassing for them.
Yeah, it's good to hear that the smoke alarms are working though.
Absolutely.
All right, Mark, really good to have you here on the program. See you again next week.
You will,
then
we'll be back the week after that.
Oh, good. Okay, we'll see you then.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to welcome back to the program Dr. Nick Page from Rolleston Vets. Good to have you here.
Oh, great to be here.
Now, I've never given you an honorific before, so I think it's about time I changed.
Oh, well, now
Dr. Nick, Dr. Page. Okay, so this week we're going to talk about ear disease in pet animals.
Yes, okay. So, very common diagnosis in both cats and dogs. More so in dogs, though, however. Lots of different causes for it, and there are certain breeds of dog that are much more prone to it. Now, the first thing that people need to understand why cats and dogs are so prone is their ear canals, the external part of the ear, is anatomically a little bit different from ours. Ours, we just have one, what we call a horizontal canal that goes straight into our eardrum, and with cats and dogs they have two parts to the ear canal. They have a vertical canal and then a horizontal canal, so it's sort of like a little cup almost, and that has a consequence that if we have, for instance, floppy-eared breeds of dogs such as spaniels, their ear flap, or pinna we call it, flops over the hole that the sound waves go into, and so it makes a very humid, difficult environment to dry out, and so very, very prone to get overgrowth of bacteria and things, particularly in these spaniel breeds where often they're involved in water, so they'll go to water, or they're used in duck hunting, or they're always swimming. We get a little bit of water in there, we've got this floppy flap over the opening of the ear, and we've got this cup of an ear canal so it doesn't get to drain or dry out, and then we've got a great environment that's created for microbes and bugs to grow up and cause infection. So with those spaniel sort of breeds, it's very important health maintenance to make sure that if they are going to water, that these ear canals are dried out. So some people even peg their ears up for half an hour after they've been swimming, or there are ear cleaners that we can put in that will dry the ear canal out. So yeah, that's one of the problems that we get with spaniels.
Is this just something that happens with spaniels in the summer when they're in the water, or does it happen actually year round?
It can happen year round. Once we get an infection or a disease process set up, it's very easy for that to smoulder along unrecognised, and so it can very rapidly turn into a very chronic problem, and we get major changes involving the skin and structures inside the ear canal, so that it becomes very difficult to clear it up properly. So it can easily turn into a year-long problem. On top of that, we have other skin diseases that often do involve the ears, and so we can get ear disease as a secondary consequence of other conditions. For instance, dogs that have allergic skin disease or allergies, they often present with ear disease, and so that's one of the major things we look at if we're looking at a dog with ear disease. We'll assess the whole skin health of the dog.
And can you tell when a dog has sore ears? I mean, because I know that my brother has an American pit bull, and she's always, lovely dog, always scratching her ears. Does that mean that she's just scratching, or does she have something wrong with her ears, do you think?
She will have itchy ears, and so I would wonder if she's got other skin problems, actually, being with her breed. As I just mentioned, she might be a little bit allergic, actually. Sometimes also licking their feet, scooting their backsides along the ground, this sort of thing as well. But yeah, so obvious head tilt, pawing at the ears, rubbing their ears on the ground, shaking their head, all symptoms of discomfort in the ears.
Yeah, so what do we need to do?
With spaniel breeds or breeds or dogs that are predisposed, put in place a good management program, so make sure that you have regular cleaning or with drying agent in the ear cleaner, or if you've got spaniels that you're using in the water, just have a process of drying their ears out. Summertime in particular, be very vigilant when you start seeing these symptoms. Foreign bodies are very, very common. Grass seeds in the ears. I could just about employ one full-time vet to take grass seeds out of the ears in the summer. It's very, very common.
Do they start to grow?
No, they're just the shape of them. They've kind of barbed, and so they only move in one direction. And the poor old dog's scratching its ear and making movement in its ear canal, and the little grass seeds moving down and down all the time. Very, very uncomfortable, and actually sometimes will go as far as penetrating and perforating the eardrum, and then we can have problems with infection in the middle part of the ear, or even sometimes the inner ear, affecting balance and everything like that as well.
Just from grass seeds?
That's right.
That's
so
amazing.
Very, very, especially in the summer, be very vigilant as far as getting these issues addressed early.
Now, it's not just dogs, it's cats as well.
Cats, we also see problems in cats, much less commonly, but still a relatively common problem. Cats, it's very infrequent to get a primary infection, so a problem just caused for an infection, as we do in dogs. So mainly in cats, we'll either get young cats or kittens infected with ear mites, relatively common, or in middle-aged cats, if we have ear disease, generally when we look, we're finding polyps that grow from the middle ear, and they burst through the eardrum and grow up the ear canal. So they're called nasopharyngeal polyps. Sometimes they come up into the ear canal, and sometimes even they'll grow down the eustachian tube that we use to equalise our pressure in the ear planes and things, and sometimes they'll grow down that tube and actually appear in the back of the throat. So that's relatively common as well, but usually due to those secondary problems. We do also get ear mite problems in puppies sometimes as well, but they're the main ear diseases we see in cats.
Okay, and very briefly, rabbits.
Rabbits, yeah, now they're interesting. They're becoming a relatively common pet, so I thought we'd talk about them a little bit. Ear mites in rabbits also, relatively common, and sometimes doesn't only affect inside the ear, can also affect around the skin, around the facial part of the rabbit as well.
All right. Well, Dr. Page, really good to have you here on the program today. Catch up with you next week.
Thank you.
Okay, after the break, National MP Amy Adams to talk about the Glove Up campaign, with thanks to a DVD produced by the New Zealand Broadcasting School.
Beautiful teeth. He's always smiling. He could talk the leg off an iron pot.
He had a beautiful, beautiful smile. He used to smile with his whole
He's a handsome bugger.
face.
He was a bloody good tradesman.
He was a very
Everything
good
he did absolute top notch.
What's your name?
Oh, he's a great dad.
A presence.
No, he's a good boy.
That's what I would say. He had a presence.
Oh, yes.
In 2003, Jason Gibson passed away. He was 29.
And he woke up and he looked at me and he said, Mum, I love you. And I said, I love you too.
He went on the Thursday and got a lead test, or got a blood test done, and 4 o'clock on the Friday he got the report back from the doctor, and the doctor told him that he should go to the hospital immediately because he had leukemia. On the Sunday they assured us that he had an 85% chance of full recovery, and on the Wednesday morning he died. Our son passed away from industrial cancer.
You know, you can't change what's happened. You can't change it. You've just got to accept it.
And change the future.
Yeah.
That's why we started the Glove Up campaign, because obviously we then realised the lack of awareness out there. We talk about not just in the painting industries or the building industries, we talk about all industries, horticulture, in the family home, the DIYers. You know, people have been exposing themselves to these, you know, things all the time. You know, I mean, I hear about it all the time from different people. This is why we need simple Pictionary so that they see it, they know straight away.
Approximately 500 New Zealand workers are dying every year from exposure to solvents. That number is bigger than the road toll.
And all the time it's a preventable situation. You don't always get enough information from a label to concern you as a worker. It doesn't sort of hit you in the eye. And I think that's one of the problems, really. And that's why over the years people are still getting affected by solvents at about the same level as they've been over the last 20 or 30 years, even more so.
Jason Gibson was a painter and was working with solvents toluene and xylene before he died. Both have been linked to occupational cancers, including prostate, stomach and leukemia. There are still no clear warnings on solvents like these to cover up.
Why be the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff? Why not stop it before it happens? The problem here is Osh and Irma, there's no correspondence. So then I turned my attention to the head of Osh. And I says, well, between you and bloody Irma, you've killed my kid. Sorry.
Irma, the government agency responsible for labelling hazardous substances, remains content with their labelling requirements. They say some information is provided on labels. Our advice to anyone using hazardous substances is to read the label and follow the instructions. OSH, the government department responsible for health and safety in the workplace, say it is not the department's responsibility to make tradespeople aware of dangerous substances they may be working with. They should already know.
Well, I had one young fella come up to me when I spoke in Christchurch here, and he shook my hand and he said, thanks very much, I learned a lot off you. And that was in April. I went to his funeral in August. He went home 28 days before with a headache and died exactly the same as my son. He was a panel beater spray painter.
The only way to stop it from being so big is that you safeguard yourself, and that's what our sign is, a safeguard.
Now what Resine have just put in place with using our Pictionary on their chemical products, I believe that it's going to make our industry a safer industry.
So Amy, why are you involved with this Glove Up campaign?
Well, I'm really just involved in a support role. Tony and Annette came to see me early on when I became the MP. They're constituents of mine, and they wanted to tell me a little bit about what they had been doing. And I guess, like most people, the more they talked to me about what had happened with their son Jason and what they've been doing since, I became really inspired, actually, by the work that they've put in, the efforts they're making, and they've turned what is a horrible, horrible family tragedy into, I think, a really important message. And I just think if we can get that message out and we can really emphasise the need to wear protective equipment and dealing with these pretty common but actually quite harmful substances, then if that's lives that can be saved, then anything I can do to help that, I'm keen to do.
As a Member of Parliament, is there something more that you can do?
I think so, and what I've been doing over that time is really talking with my colleagues, particularly my ministerial colleagues across various portfolios. It touches on education, it touches on health and safety, it touches on environment and risk management, and really just spending time going to each of my colleagues and explaining to them what the Glove Up message is, where we think that there's some room for improvement in labelling and awareness, and just helping work with them to try and advance those causes. So, that's what we've been doing. It's getting some good pickup, and there's certainly a lot of support for the campaign and the work that Tony and Annette and the Glove Up team are doing. And so again, it's just awareness and building that sense of momentum around the importance of this stuff.
How important is it that companies such as Resene have started putting these labels on their products?
Yeah, look, I think that's a great step, and I think Resene really need to be commended. They've really taken the lead in this, and they've taken important steps to firstly make their products safer, but also to really ensure that users of those products understand that they can be used safely. And it's a few very simple steps, but I think it's just that visual reminder of the labelling on the products is so important, just to let people know who are working with these products, particularly in industrial situations, that this is their life. And actually a lot of people die from industrial solvent use, and it's so easily preventable. So while those messages are taught to them, in their training and their apprenticeships, we need to just keep reminding them every day you're using this stuff, wear a protective face mask, wear gloves, and then if we can prevent deaths like Jason Gibson's happening to others, then that's got to be good.
All right, how can we find out more about this?
Well, look, I think the best place to go is through the Glove Up website, which is www.gloveup.co.nz. And I know Tony and Annette are always only too pleased to talk to anyone who's interested and to share their message. They're just so selfless in their time, and they really are true heroes in our community.
Okay, Amy, thank you for coming on the program.
You're welcome.
Welcome back to City Life, and I'd like to welcome Keryn from the Palms and Pam from Dogwatch. Now, perhaps an unlikely combination, but Keryn, why don't you tell us about the Palms Community Assistant campaign?
Well, we decided to run our community campaign when the Palms was damaged in the February earthquake. We've had a lot of repair work that we needed to get done, and being closed, we really wanted to do something that really connected with the community, and also something that gave something back to the community. So then we devised the $100,000 community giveaway campaign and asked the community to get behind it and support community groups that had been affected by the earthquake specifically.
So how many people have you had apply for this assistance?
We had over 350 nominations, which was just amazing. And just to actually read through the nominations was, you had to really look after your feelings when you do something like that. But we chose 20 from that group, and then we put them on our website and we asked people to vote for them, and the 6 that won the most votes we gave the money to.
Wow. So Dogwatch has been given $50,000.
I know, it's amazing. It's still a little bit surreal. It's like, that's $50,000. That is a huge amount of money, and makes an amazing difference to what we're about to start doing with Project Wise at the kennels.
Well, let's look at how you're going to spend the money in a minute. Now, first of all, what is Dogwatch?
Dogwatch is a rescue centre. It's a centre that was established in 1982 for the rescue and rehoming of condemned pound dogs. Now, since then, we've taken a lot more private dogs. So we're actually just a dog rescue centre, but we are theoretically set up specifically for pound dogs that have been left in the pound after their 7 days. The council becomes the legal owner of them, and it can do as they see fit with them, whether they're up for homing after the 7 days, or put down on that 8th day.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And so they come to you?
We take in as many as we possibly can, and our resources have been stretched past their limits over the last few months. Well, probably for the last year, but even more so with the earthquakes.
Okay, so Keryn, why was Dogwatch chosen as the main recipient?
Well, the number of public votes was quite overwhelming for Dogwatch, and now meeting Pam and speaking to her team, they did so much to rally the public support. You know, the 5,000 flyers that were printed and going around to all the vets, going to the shopping centres, getting on the phone. I mean, they really worked extremely hard to get that vote. They even had votes from overseas, I understand.
Wow.
Which is pretty exciting. So you use the social networks to pick up these affiliated groups. So, yeah, very
so this
successful.
$50,000, how far is that going to get you? I mean, how much support do you usually get per annum?
Not $50,000 worth, that's for sure. So this is huge.
Yeah.
We're about to start building something we've needed for so very long, and that is a block of isolation kennels. So that when our new dogs come in that we have no history of, if they're not vaccinated, they have to go into an isolation area to make sure that they're not coming down with any viruses or, you know, going to spread anything. And we haven't had anything suitable for years. So we've doubled the amount of dogs this year that we took in as compared to last year. So the need is there, absolutely, and for the health and safety of the dogs as well. So that's our major project, but we also work in this very dysfunctional small reception, one office where 4 of us share it, but it's also the staff tea room and it's a bit of a storeroom, and we also create dogs in there. So we're well past needing to expand and cope with the need that's out there in the community. There's a huge need.
Yeah, there is. Now, you're in Bromley.
That's right.
How was the area during the earthquakes?
We always keep saying St Francis is looking after us because we have been remarkably lucky with our kennels. We've suffered some damage and we're still waiting, like everyone else, for our insurance company to come forward with how they're going to fix it. But overall, we've done really well. We have 2 houses on there, which I live in one and my caretaker lives in the other, and they've been damaged quite badly. So, but as for the kennels and the dogs, we've done really well. Yeah.
So how many dogs do you have there at the moment?
I think there's about 19 with a possible 7 coming in tomorrow from a litter of pups out in the community that need help. So. Yeah.
Okay, what sort of puppies are they?
They are what we call purebred suburban terriers, which is otherwise known as a mongrel.
Okay, right. Now, you do have a website, though, that people can go onto to see if they would like to adopt a dog.
Yes.
What's that website?
It's www.dogwatch.co.nz. Very easy to get to, and it has a page with adoptions. It has all sorts of information on there.
Okay. Now, the Palms, that's opening soon.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, definitely.
We did have a setback on June the 13th, but we're now looking at opening on the 8th of September. And it's a Thursday, and all our retailers are getting excited, and we've had so much support from the customers and people that are really looking forward to getting back into their shopping centre again. It's been greatly missed. Yeah. There's very little facilities around in the eastern suburbs at the moment, and you know, we've had a real rough time out there. So it'll be really, really nice to have something restored back to normal for people.
Oh, yes,
so really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to it as well. Us over in the east. Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks very much for what you're doing for the community and especially for Dogwatch. Really good to have you both on the program.
Great pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.
After the break, we catch up with Chris Tobin from the Mainland Press. Welcome back to City Life, and good to have Chris Tobin on the program, editor of the Mainland Press.
Morning, Canetta.
Now, you've got 2 newspapers with you today.
Yes, people on the Bay Harbour news area will be pleased to see the relaunch of their small community paper. It was a weekly. We had 4 papers prior to February 22. Life changed on February 22. 4 became 1. But now, several months later, Bay Harbour News is coming back. We are relaunching it as a fortnightly. Heavily dependent on community involvement. So if you flick through the paper, you'll find that the people writing the articles are the locals. You know, we've got, for example, the Redcliffs Residents Association writing about, you know, what's concerning them at the present moment. We've got the Sunderland Environment Group. We've got right at the back, I think if I can find the page, I'm scratching around here, but it's here somewhere. It's the emergency services, you know, Copper's Corner. Gary Manch, the OC of the Littleton and Bays area, he gives a report. We've got the Sunderland Lifeboat, Paul Lawson, the Fire Brigade, so it's very much a grassroots publication.
So is this something that was this Bay Harbour, was this what used to happen, like the locals were writing the stories, or was it just something new?
When it first started, yes, it was heavily reliant on that sort of thing, but it evolved naturally enough, you know, and it became more news concentrated, I guess, with articles written by our journalists. But now this is very much a community thing. As you can see, we've got a community diary on the front which details events that are happening in that area.
Yep.
It's all part of the rebuild of Sumner, Redcliffe, you know, that general area over to Littleton. I hope it's seen as a positive thing for that community, and I'm sure it will be.
Well, it's good to have it back.
It is.
So why did you choose Bay Harbour over any of the other ones? Is it because that area is focused on rebuild?
Primarily, yes, to help on the rebuild, and it's always been, you know, the Bay Harbour News was the flagship publication for our community papers. You know, we've got Norwest News, Pegasus Bay News and Southern View. Bay Harbour was, you know, as I say, the flagship. Had a huge following, still has actually, in our Mainland Press publication. So therefore, you know, it seemed logical to break off and start off again.
All right, and of course the Mainland Press is hot off the press again today.
Yes, we've got a story which is related to that, the readership area over in the Bay Harbour area. It concerns the road from Sumner to Littleton. We got some images that show the devastation of the road.
Incredible images there.
Yes, and there are, you know, concerns that the road might be permanently shut. So, you know, the council and others are looking at alternatives, and one of the alternatives is that trucks will have to travel over Dyers Pass and Gibby's Pass. It's only an option being considered, but it just shows you how serious the matter is. Another alternative or another option is to have what the sort of rock shelters. We've got an image here from Ateria Gorge. That is another option that could be developed for the road. It's a critically important arterial route for the port and for, you know, the community. So it's quite a big topic.
Okay, all right.
So that's yeah, I guess that's our major story. And then we've got Chomley that's going to be demolished and rebuilt. I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in that. Excuse me. The City U's lucky ones are away to Auckland for a break from the quake. Wouldn't mind joining them, but unfortunately.
Me too.
And so, yeah, and then we look at the future of Sydenham and Littleton are being looked at very seriously at the present moment. Draft plans are being considered in terms of the rebuild of those areas. Sydenham seems, you know, it seems exciting times for Sydenham. Huge devastation and change down there, but there are plenty of gaps, and from what I've heard, some exciting things are going to happen in Sydenham.
Okay.
And Littleton too, you know. It's the community are really getting behind a rebuild over there as well. So a draft plan for both areas are being seriously considered.
All right.
Page 7, I've got a story about the old pub history. One of the features of the quake is that a lot of old historical hotels are just disappearing. They're getting knocked over right across the province. I've got, for example, here the Lancaster Hotel near the AMI Stadium. No doubt generations of rugby followers stopped off there to have a beer on to and from matches, I guess.
Indeed.
And they'll be disappointed to see that go. And of course, the Carlton Hotel on Papanui Road, that's disappeared. The Empire Hotel, Littleton, Cokers, that's going to come down. And there are huge, you know, there are vast numbers of others that are facing uncertain futures. So it's history disappearing.
Sure is.
As an example of that, the Empire Hotel, I believe, well, not the Empire, but some of those old historical hotels in Littleton. The first licences were issued in about 1851 and 1853. The Canterbury Hotel at Norwich Quay opened in 1853.
Wow.
The Royal Hotel began on the site even earlier in 1851. This is hugely historical stuff. And these pubs are perhaps going to disappear and new buildings are going to be built. So it's history changing.
All right, what else is in the paper a little bit further in?
Well, we've got a delightful photo there of cupcakes galore at Kids Market down at Hagley Park. There's kids enjoying their holiday break.
Yep.
Police quake actions captured as art. It's a nice photo there. The All Blacks went to Linwood, the Linwood Rugby Club on Sunday. We've got photos there of Manu Nunu, Adam Thompson, Conrad Smith, who are getting to know the locals and hand out tickets for Friday's test, apparently.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, skaters over in Sumner. Great photo there by Samantha Early. It shows a young Dan Kelcher, 14 from Heathcote, doing his thing.
All right. Okay, so the Mainland Press Bay Harbour news
Plenty
delivered.
to read.
Yeah, plenty to read. Delivered to homes. If they're not, pick them up at
Supermarkets, dairies or service stations.
I see them all over the city.
Great.
Really good to have you on the program, Chris.
Thank you, Canetta.
Okay. Now I'd like to welcome Paula from the Beer and Doll Show. And you brought so many friends with you today, Paula.
We certainly have.
And when you came in, you brought in this, what is that, a bassinet or a, I don't know what they call those.
I think it's a
baby carrier. And I thought, Paula's brought her twins in today. This baby looks real.
This is Patrick.
Patrick.
Like whole Patrick.
Okay. Patrick feels real. Patrick, hi. My sister's just about to have a baby, so I can imagine this is what it'll be probably like.
Exactly right. They're weighted
to a real baby.
To a real baby.
Oh,
yeah.
It's quite good that it's not. Patrick's not awake and crying, so you know.
Not for television anyway.
No, he feels so real that I feel that if I don't hold him up properly, he'll get a sore neck. Who has made this?
That's Bridget Passfield. She will have a display of those at the Beer and Doll Show.
Yeah.
At the weekend.
Okay. Sorry, Patrick, you can't see.
And this one in here is Charlie.
So Patrick and Charlie, the boy twins.
Yes.
And she makes these.
Yes, she does.
Here in Christchurch.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, it's just amazing. So if you had a baby coming, you could practice with one of these.
You could practice.
Yeah. All right, Paula, here's Patrick.
Thank you.
Now tell me about these other dolls and teddy bears that you brought with you today.
Okay, the Doll Club will have a display, and they'll have old bears and dolls through the ages.
Yeah.
At the show, we've also got raffles. The Golly, who's just popped round here, she's one of the raffle prizes, and the same here.
Okay.
We've got an Avon basket. We've got mine's gone a blank. A basket for the stall holders. Put a basket in. What Now have kindly donated Camilla, the monkey.
Oh, really?
And her friend.
Yeah.
So all the money from the door sales and proceeds of the raffle and our cafe all are jointly distributed between breast cancer research and kidney kids.
Okay,
and,
great.
There's some fudge down there, and Gary Kate, he raises funds for kidney kids as well, so he'll be there with his fudges.
Okay, so where is this happening?
It's at the Horticultural Centre. It's in Riccarton Avenue, just not far from the hospital, and we'll be there from 10 till 4.
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday.
So this is next Saturday and Sunday.
Next Saturday
10
and
till
Sunday.
4, Horticultural Hall. So will there be doll making displays, like teddy bear making displays?
Possibly not this year, but we do have lots of bears and dolls for sale. There's artist bears, commercial bears, and things like that, and related products like shoes, socks, and things like that. And the same with the dolls. There's porcelain dolls, there's modern dolls, there's vinyl dolls, and we also have Joyce Riley from the Doll City Hospital, who repairs dolls, who's been quite busy since the earthquake, and she will be there, and also she has a lot of old dolls and doll costumes and things like that.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a very exciting weekend.
We have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're expecting quite a few people?
We hope so. We've put lots of signs around, and there's advertisements in the newspaper and things like that. So the more people that come, the more fun it is, and the more we can give to our two charities, breast cancer research and kidney kids.
Yeah, all right. So door sales, is it only?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And how much are the tickets?
Yes. Adults $5, children under 12 $3, children under 5 free. Free.
Yep, free.
And family passes are 2 adults and 2 children, which is $13.
Okay. Well, Paula, thank you for coming in. Thank you for sharing your teddy bears, your dolls, and your Patrick with us. It's been really nice to have you here.
Thank you very much.
back to City Life, and it's great to have John Hunter here to talk about movies. Thanks to Hoyts. How are you?
Thank you, Hoyts. I'm good, thank you very much.
That's good. So what movies have you seen this week?
I have seen The Big Picture out at Hollywood in Sumner.
Okay.
I saw that on Sunday night. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah?
This is French cinema at its best. It was a compelling watch. It's got an actor, we would have seen him recently in a movie called Heartbreaker. His name is Romain Duras.
Okay.
He's in every scene.
Oh, really?
He is.
You don't usually get that in a film.
Well, no, you don't. And thoroughly enjoyable. And it was a novel by a writer called Douglas Kennedy. It's about a lawyer who has everything in his life. Then he finds out his wife's having an affair. He confronts the man who his wife is seeing. Things get out of hand, and suddenly he decides to assume the life of his wife's lover.
Oh,
without
really?
going into it too much.
Oh.
And he becomes a photographer in Yugoslavia, and great scenes in it, bit of travel, bit of suspense.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. So it's only playing at Hollywood?
It's only playing at Hollywood. So if you can endure the drive out there,
Yeah.
we went at night, we went out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I think we hit every pothole between Ferrymead and Sumner at speed, but...
Slow down.
Slow down, yeah, exactly.
All right. So we're looking at African cats.
African cats as well. So I made a few notes about this. If you can get past the cheesy narration by Samuel L. Jackson, you'll enjoy this.
Okay.
It's a family-orientated movie.
All right.
It's a nature doco about 3 separate cats, families. There's a family of cheetahs, a family of lions, and there's a story about an African lion king thing protecting his family.
Oh.
It looks very nice.
No, we've got a trailer?
We've got a trailer for
Let's
that.
watch it.
Disney Nature proudly presents the next great Earth Day adventure. African cats. This Earth Day, experience the incredible true story and extraordinary adventures of 2 families striving to make a home in the wildest place on Earth. African Cats. Only in theatres Earth Day, April 22nd. See African Cats opening week, and Disney Nature will make a donation in your honour to protect the savannah they call home.
Oh,
Isn't that cute?
So cute. I so want to see that movie. I love cats.
Good, you can see that one.
Okay, I will.
I'll see Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, Thomas the Tank Engine. Just in time for school holidays, I'm thinking.
Indeed. So that starts today, and also we've also got Thomas and Friends, the Day of the Diesels.
Cool.
Oh, this is great.
All right.
For kids.
Does that open today as well?
This opens today at Hoyts. It's about... I've got this sort of synopsis here, but do we really want to go into it?
Let's watch the trailer.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's Thomas and Friends in a brand new movie, Day of the Diesels.
Trembling tracks. I've never seen anything like this before.
Diesel 10 has a devious plan to take over the steamworks.
The steamworks is ours. It's all ours. Bust my buffers. This is a disaster.
The Diesels have caused confusion and delay.
Thomas must rely on his trusty friends and 2 new engines to save the island from disaster. Meet Belle.
I can help, sir.
And Flynn.
He's fast and he's fearless and he's a really red fire engine.
They're experts at putting out fires and they've arrived just in time.
The diesel works is on fire. Thomas is in danger.
Here I come, Thomas. Fiery Flynn to the rescue.
Look for Thomas and Friends in Day of the Diesels. Coming to DVD September 2011.
But screening at Hoyt's now.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay, so we could wait for September.
For the DVD?
I don't think my niece is quite old enough to see something like that, so I'm going to have to find another child to take along to Thomas if I'm going to commit to seeing that.
Right. Good.
Right, yeah. All right. Hey, now hearing you chat before about the big picture makes me want to see the trailer.
Why not?
Let's do it.
Bonjour maître. Pourquoi tu pars pas avec Sarah? Tu rentres quelques jours. Il va falloir aussi que tu te fasses à l'idée de reprendre la boîte, Paul.
Comment tu me traites, Sarah? Je suis pas ton ennemi, hein?
Paul, c'est fini.
T'as quelqu'un? C'est ça.
C'est pas facile pour moi non plus.
Attends.
Mais je reviendrai pas sur ma décision.
Je vais pas reprendre la boîte. Je suis désolé.
Be bothered by tourists.
C'est là que t'es installé, petit français, et on t'a amené pour trouver la bonne planque.
Je voudrais publier une série de vos portraits.
I don't want a single photo of me in the press.
This is yours?
Yes.
Do you have vehicle documents?
Ah, dis donc, je t'ai googlé. J'ai vu les photos que tu faisais à Paris, t'as bien fait de bouger, hein.
T'as jamais été marié?
Qu'est-ce que tu veux? Qu'est-ce que tu cherches?
Grégoire Cremer, follow me. Et pourquoi t'es parti sans rien? T'avais pas de photos? T'es un bluffeur.
Okay.
If you like French cinema, go and see it.
Yeah, looks good.
It is.
I didn't even notice the subtitles.
See it before the Americans remake it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good thinking. All right. Now, finally, Rialto, no more?
That was my last day on Tuesday.
Okay.
So no one's employed by Rialto in Christchurch anymore.
All right.
The cinema's gone. Yeah, that's it. Probably they'll be back in 2 or 3 years' time, but I think what the Rialto group are looking at is what happens to Christchurch, where the population sort of goes.
Okay.
They might miss the boat, though. People might sort of build out the cinemas here and there, and market share goes.
Okay, and what's showing out at Lincoln next week?
Lincoln was showing The Conspirator again.
Okay.
Okay, so if you liked it the first time, come and see it another time.
All right.
Yeah.
John, really good to have you on the programme. See you next week to talk about more movies, and I promise this time I will see at least one movie this week.
Do that,
to chat about.
Thank you.
Now, that is City Life for today. Just a reminder that we have Jill Darcy on the programme tomorrow, a special City Life. Now, she says that 1/3 of marriages end in divorce, and Jill wants to change the term broken family to complex family. So she'll be here to chat to us. Now, if you'd like to get in touch with City Life, you can. You can email me, kaneta@ctv.co.nz. You can call us 3777 033, or you can write to us, PO Box 1100 Christchurch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the special episode tomorrow.